Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Vastatya Vishatarine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Ya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasari Gaura Bhakta-vrinda. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Jaya Prahlad Nrsimha, Prahlad Nrsimha, Prahlad Nrsimha, Jaya Prahlad. Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jai, 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 Jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you all for coming. I would humbly request you to come a bit closer. Don't be shy, because I'm trying to make an interactive presentation so that everybody feels a part of it. Thank you all. So as you see, the title of the presentation is Write and Be Happy. Srila Prabhupada said, chant and be happy. And His Holiness Krishna Kshetra Goswami said, write and be happy. So, if any one of you experienced ever writing, if any one of you wrote anything in the past, then you know how relieving it is and how therapeutic it is. And it makes a kind of a person happy when one continues his writing day by day. The subtitle of the presentation is Freeing a Writer Within. This Freeing a Writer Within is based on the book Writing Down the Bones of Natalie Goldberg, the same book Krishna Kshetra Goswami suggested in his presentation, which was named Write and Be Happy, Voicing a Way to Krishna Through a Written Word. He gave that presentation just before COVID pandemic on ILS in Mayapur, ISKCON Leader Sangha. And he was very humble as always, and he thought that his presentation will not be so popular. He was expecting 6 to 7, 8 devotees to come and visit his talk, but surprisingly he had 40 to 50 devotees in the classroom each time he gave a presentation, and it was 3 days in a row. So he was very surprised positively, and he understood that actually there is an interest among devotees about writing, and there is an interest to express oneself through a written word. So he was very, very encouraged and inspired. And then the pandemic started, and he was stuck in India for some time, so he could not travel. But he decided to have a sangha, Saturday sangha with his disciples. And in one of these first sanghas, he gave just an overview of his presentation in Mayapur. And when I heard this presentation, I got very much inspired and moved from within to somehow or other assist my spiritual master in his mission. And his mission is initiating a culture of writing. Writing is a service to Krishna. He is himself a writer, and many Prabhupada's disciples are writers, and his disciples are writers. And they're writing so many nice books. And that's great. Krishna Kshetra Swami says that's wonderful, but we need more writers. We need more devotees who will express their realizations in a written way and share it with the world. He was giving some statistic, and it was just unbelievable how many new books are coming out yearly by Christians, like something like 5,000 books a year. This is amazing. Not so much come out by Hare Krishna devotees. So he was making this point and trying to inspire all of us to write something. And his disciples who are among us now, they know that Krishna Kshetra Goswami encourages us time to time to write something. So recently, beginning of this year in February, we were at Govardhan. We had the Govardhan retreat with Guru Maharaj, and then after the retreat, we were all writing our reflections on that time at Govardhan, reflections, realizations, and whatever else we felt that we want to express in a written word. And then this will all be combined in a book that will come out soon. So he is very much into writing. He himself is a writer, and all of you know and might have already read his books. And for him to start as a writer, it was not so easy, because when he proposed and when he asked his seniors, when he was just a bhakta or shortly after joining the movement, when he proposed that he would like to write something in Krishna consciousness, they told him, just forget about it. Forget about it. But he said that I didn't forget about it, and now writing is my prominent service for Srila Prabhupada. and he is also encouraging other devotees to write. So I dedicate this presentation, 2-day presentation. First day it will be Write and Be Happy. We will try to come to a conclusion. I won't say what is the conclusion, and then how I will do this presentation. There will be some questions, short questions, and then we will try to have some interaction and try to answer that question just briefly. Maybe for each question we can have 2 or 3 answers, and then we proceed, so that it doesn't take so long. The answers will be then supported by the quotes of Srila Prabhupada, by the quotes of his disciples and his disciples. And at the end of this presentation we will try to come to a conclusion. And in the next presentation we will discuss how to write. And the next one is based on the book of Natalie Goldberg that Krishna Kshetra Goswami recommended as a good book for the beginners. And I read that book and composed notes on it. And on these notes then I prepared the presentation. So we will see some practical tips for those who never took a pen and paper and wrote something. But I hope that all of you know how to write. Even Priya Radha, do you know how to write? Yeah, so Priya Radha is 5 or 6? 7. Wow. So she already knows how to write. And our Narahari Mataji also knows how to write. So, and all... Yeah, she was also writing a reflection on Govardhan retreat. So we are somehow, to know how to write is something very common. But for example, when we look just 50 years back or 100 years back, some people don't know how to write. My grandmother, for example, she never learned how to write. She would sign by just cross X. So, and she left her body maybe 5 years ago. And what to say in some undeveloped countries, where people don't go to the regular school. So at least we have a good start. We know how to write, and we have pens and papers all over the temple and all over the houses. So we can use them in writing. Now my question is, does any one of you write something? Yes, Prabhu, Alexei writes. Someone else? Shyam Kunda Prabhu? Govindadev Prabhu, little bit. Bashar? Something. Nandimukhi writes also. When Guru Maharaj is asking, then Nandimukhi is writing. So usual answer when we are asked, can you be a writer? We say no. No, sir. I'm sorry, I'm not a writer. I'm not like Srila Prabhupada, I'm not like the previous acharyas, I'm not like my Guru Maharaj, so I cannot write. So we immediately drop this and we create ourselves a false belief that we cannot write. And then we might ask ourselves, why write? There are so many books already written. We have Srila Prabhupada's books, we have the books of the previous acharyas, so why write? And that's our first question, why write? So now we can try to give some brief answers. Yes?
Because this is the last stage of learning.
Last stage of? Learning, okay. Someone else? Beneficial for yourself, okay, wonderful. Bashar?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. It's not necessarily writing for others, but in the first place for one's own.
Okay. Someone else? Shyam Kunda Prabhu?
Yeah, just same thoughts. Like it's for me, it's like therapy or therapy. Like
Therapeutic, it's therapeutic. Wonderful. Any other reason? Yes, Prabhu.
For me, it's to take all my thoughts together and present them.
To put your thoughts together and present them. Wonderful. We went in a good direction. So let's see what are the answers on this presentation. First one is to please Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada said, if you want to write as my disciple, I want you to write as my disciples. On this point, Krishna consciousness is not limited. Persons like all of the Goswamis wrote so many books. Vishwanath Chakravarti and all the Acharyas wrote books. And still I am writing books. Similarly, also my disciples will write. So it is Srila Prabhupada's desire and instruction. So to please him, we can write something for his pleasure. For self-purification, that's another reason. If you sit down and write some article on Krishna, that means you have to concentrate on Krishna's activities or Krishna's devotees' activities. And that very process will purify your heart. Therefore, we always recommend to our students that you write articles, read our magazine, and read our book. That's Srila Prabhupada lecture from January 17th, 1971. Then, as Govindadev Prabhu said, for our personal benefit, by writing according to our realization, we become more and more convinced, and all doubts are destroyed, says Srila Prabhupada. So it is very beneficial for a devotee to write. Otherwise, Srila Prabhupada would not give it. Then, I guess someone mentioned, for preaching purpose or for teaching purpose, we can write. And Srila Prabhupada says, preaching also means reading and writing, or else what will you preach? So these two are connected. If we want to write nicely, if we want to preach nicely, then we need to read first of all, very nicely, and study, scrutinizingly Srila Prabhupada's books. Krishna Kshetra Goswami says, you can connect people with Krishna through your writing. And His Holiness Bhaktivigyan Goswami says, preaching means sharing your experience. And to share experience can be also through a written word. Now, the next question would be, who can write? Yes, Priyarad.
Schreiben ist auch ein Gedanke, gegen wir was vergessen haben, gegen einfach was vergessen, dann kann man es aufschreiben.
So not to forget something, one can write it down, says Priyarad. Wonderful, thank you. So who can write?
Who can think?
Nandimukhi? Everyone can write. Yes, everyone can write. Everyone and anyone can write. Be he a lady or a gentleman, initiated, not initiated, young, senior, doesn't matter. Everyone can write. Srila Prabhupada says, all students should be encouraged to write some articles after reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and teachings of Lord Chaitanya. They should realize the information and they must present their assimilation in their own words. Otherwise, how can they become preachers? So this is from 1969. Very early, Srila Prabhupada said this statement that Everybody must present their assimilation in their own words. Write some articles after reading Srimad Bhagavatam and other books. So everyone can write, but what to write?
Like the Prabhupada was saying, like what you assimilate.
Mm.
Like, this is very powerful because when you repeat what you understood in your own words, the Prabhupada was saying that what can you preach? You can only preach when you assimilation means that it goes into you and you filter it, and then you can express it in your own words. So to write what you understood.
That would be writing one's realizations. Yeah. In which ways, which forms?
So I think the topic depends on the individual, on the writer, and on the public person.
Depends on the writer himself and a public for whom he is writing.
Like you see some books are written for devotees, like David Matthew says that these books are actually what she writes are actually for devotees. They're not to be distributed on the street.
Yeah.
And then there are of course other books that are for everyone. Like Prabhupada's books to some extent. I see Bhakti Swami's Maharaj's books are definitely can be read by the public. So what to write, I think, depends on these 2 points. What realizations do I have, and to whom am I writing this? Who is my target?
Yeah, that's a good point, Bashar. Krishna Kshetra Swami says that first of all, write for yourself. Write for yourself because it's very therapeutic and it's clarifying and it's very beneficial for a devotee. And then gradually start thinking about your audience, to whom you really want to write, to whom you want to address. And he says that when you start writing, then write as you are writing to your little sister. Like very simple, very clear, not so big fancy words, no big philosophy, just simple. Start simple, with simple writings. So yeah, write your realizations. Srila Prabhupada. Realization means you should write, every one of you. What is your realization? Every one of you, what is your realization? What for this back to Godhead is? You write your realization, what you have realized about Krishna, that is required. It is not passive. Always you should be active. Whenever you find time, you write. Never mind 2 lines, 4 lines, but you write your realization. Shravanam Kirtanam, writing or offering prayers, glories, this is one of the functions of the Vaishnava. You are hearing, but you have to write also. Any comments on that?
Yeah, I'd be interested to see the resource. Is it in a book or in a lecture?
It is lecture, August 14th, 1972.
I think also, I was thinking the whole time, would you write for your spiritual master?
Bashar?
That's usually a very good vocation. It's muted for
Gauranga. It's when you write to your spiritual master once a year. It's for Prabhupada also. Now we encourage all the members of our congregation, young, old, any age. We are bringing out the German Vyasa Puja book for Srila Prabhupada, and every temple, every member of the community, every brahmachari, every grihasta, everybody is invited to write to Srila Prabhupada. So I found, because it was also written there to offering prayers and to glorify the devotees is maybe some easy way to write. You just have to observe this devotee and think positively of the good you have received, the blessings you received from this person, and you just, express your gratefulness and offer prayers, glorification. So this is one simple, practical way we can, every year we should write something.
At least one article. Bashar, you wanted to say something? No? So the Prabhupada continues. Then write means smarnam. First he said, Shravanam Kirtanam, writing or offering prayers, glories. And then write means smarnam, remembering what you have heard from your spiritual master, from the scripture. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, about Vishnu, not for others. Don't write any nonsense thing for any nonsense man. Useless waste of time. Vishnu, write about Vishnu, Krishna. This is cultivation of Krishna consciousness. Hear, write, remember, try to understand. Don't be dull-headed, very intelligent. Without being very intelligent, nobody can have full Krishna consciousness. It is for the most intelligent man. So that intelligence will come if you try to understand Krishna. So in order to write something, we have to think about it. And in one of the previous quotes, Srila Prabhupada said the same. So you engage your mind and intelligence in the topic, and we prefer to have spiritual topics, write about the Lord and His devotees. This is, yes, as I said, 1972, one lecture in, it's not written where. Any comments?
I have this experience that sometimes when you, like it happened to me a few times that I didn't have prepared anything written for the Vyasa Puja of Srila Prabhupada, and then you have to speak spontaneously. And if you overcome your false ego to, oh, I cannot do it, you just, then when you really try and you start glorifying Srila Prabhupada, like it says, intelligence will come. If you try to understand Krishna, if you try to glorify the devotees, intelligence will come. And we are actually able to say much more than we actually realized. And a few times I was surprised, somehow this was inside there, but I didn't know. But because I was, put on the spot, it came out.
Thank you.
For me, it's some kind of meditation. I constantly because I'm supposed to write something. It means I must meditate about it. This is very nice kind of meditation, especially if a topic is Krishna consciousness, of course.
Yeah, so it's not like one day process.
Yes, this is some kind of deep meditation, and even if I'm writing some books, I'm constantly have in my mind, oh, maybe this is I can use this for my writing, something this thought, this kind of.
Do you write on a pen and paper, or you use laptop?
No, on computer.
Computer. And
But
yes, we will come to that topic as well.
But writing this is the last step for me. First is meditation. Sometimes I make some notes, and after some time, this structure is more and more visible, and then I'm writing. It means this writing is end of meditation.
And then the fruit comes up.
Yeah.
Thank you. So here are some forms and genres that were recommended. So we can write Shastra commentary in a variety of styles with varied purposes. We can do some life writing, like diary, journaling, writing on social media, writing memoirs, autobiography, biography, and so on. Then we have literary forms like novel, poetry, drama, short story, novella. Just recently, Krishna Kshetra Swami published, the book came out recently, on deity worship, and it is written in a very interesting format. It's an dialogue between a guru and some journalist, brother and sister journalists. So they were asking a guru questions, and so it can be done in that way also. It does not have to be like standard what we see in Srila Prabhupada's books. So we can give ourselves some space for creativity as well. So there are so many other genres: adventure, comedy, detective, drama, epic, horror, lyric, mystery, etc. Then we can write some short essays, some articles. Those of you who went through Bhakti Shastri course, you were probably asked to write very often some essay. And that is also a wonderful experience, that one has to really then engage the mind and think of the topic and find some references and really try to write some nice philosophical article. Have you went through Bhakti Shastri?
Yeah, I have interesting experience with writing essays on Bhakti Shastri, because on this time I was travel in Sankirtan van, and I was till lunch I was distributing books, and after lunch I was sitting and writing essays. It was so nice time.
So it was good experience.
Yeah, very, very, very nice experience.
Thank you. So there are so many ways what we can write, how can we write and express our thoughts, our feelings, realizations, memories, prayers. It is one little simple technique that Maharaj recommends. This is to take a verse of the Bhagavad Gita and try to turn it in a poem or a prayer. It's very simple, and it does not have to be a big text. So a poem can be also very short, and I used to do that on these small papers, square papers, these block papers, just to write one or two sentences, turning a verse of Bhagavad Gita into a prayer. And I find it very powerful because somehow you personalize the verse and offer it as a prayer to the Lord or to Guru. So we might want to try the same when we get back to our rooms after this presentation. In the beginning I asked the question, can you be a writer? And what did you thought at that moment? Yes or no? How many thought yes, I can be a writer? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, half, 4 and half. So the rest thought no, I cannot be a writer. And after that, what we read and heard, do you feel a bit encouraged? What do you think about it now? Can you be a writer? Who would say yes?
I'm not about Krishna consciousness, I'm not really qualified, but I will have to learn, but generally yes.
Generally, yes. So how many would say yes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bashar? No? Madajivan 6.
Can I share my doubt? Like,
Yeah.
it's like what Nitai Prabhu said about it's like putting your thoughts into structure. And for me, I really had a great deal of what do they call it nowadays? ADHD, like, you know, being very easily distracted and not being able to concentrate for a long time. And ever since I got to know Krishna consciousness, it became kind of better, because you have to at some point concentrate whatever you're doing, reading, chanting, and so on. So I noticed that it really needs years of practice to master this, this meditation of putting your thoughts really into words and into, this expression ability. It's not only writing skills, it's more also a lot of cognitive and intellectual skills that should be trained. It's like I feel like it's some muscle in my mind that should be trained. And for that, I don't know. Yeah, it needs writing actually, because reading this does not help much. Like I feel that I know so much, I read so much, but tell me to explain certain topics, I feel that just because I've never done this in writing, then I have my doubt that will I ever be able to write or not. So maybe you can say something. Maybe how much training does it need, or is it just needs maybe devotee would say connection with the super soul, and don't think you are the doer.
I think it's like learning by doing. None of us is a professional writer, but Madajivan, I'm sorry, he is a professional. But if we do write something daily, and maybe 2 times a day we take the pen and the paper and try to write something, then learning by doing, it will get better and better. But we will not get better if we never try to write something. And one experience that I have is when I prepare lectures, then I always take a pen and paper and I write my notes. So I write my notes down. And it's so much easier to think what I want to communicate to the audience when I'm writing it. So I can stop and I can think, I can take a book and read something, find the reference here, find the reference there, get some more inspiration, sleep over, and then maybe before sleep some other thoughts come, and then I get up, write it down. But when I'm sitting here and I'm supposed to convey a message to you, then I don't have this time to think so much. So writing gives you this freedom also, to take your time and just write in peace and, gather your thoughts and continue writing tomorrow and adding some things, deleting or editing or whatever. And I feel it could be a good thing for this age, the age of DNA.
Maybe I've exaggerated a bit. ADHD is already like, disease.
I haven't noticed this.
Generally, being easily distracted. Being easily distracted. For those who know me for some time, they know this already.
Yeah. So we will talk about it tomorrow, but just to give you a hint, it's for the beginners in writing, the professional writers, they recommend time yourself. Sit down and time yourself. Okay, for next 15 minutes, I will only write. So nothing else. So I take a pen and paper and I time myself and then I write for these 15 minutes. That's it. Ideally without stopping. So like a free writing, just take it and whatever comes through your mind, just express it in a written word. We will talk more about it tomorrow. So that might be also a way for you, or maybe just to write a prayer at the end of the day on a small note paper. Just 2 sentences of prayer could also be something that we could practice. Yes, Prabhu.
I had two short thoughts about this. One was what you already said before, like when you, I think Shashatamar said it to you. Who said it? That you should write like you're talking to your younger sister. So that's, I think that was for me very interesting to hear, because when you're writing, in one sense, you're like putting yourself in a position of authority. And if you think you have to write to the whole world, what will people think of my funny ideas, But to your younger sister, you can always explain something, You always know what to say. So that's a very interesting exercise to think like that, to write simple, not to be too complicated also in writing. Like children's literature, some devotees here wrote this book about Nrsingadev, a journey to Simhachalam, with some pictures, and it's very simple writing, but very popular. People love this book so much. So it doesn't have to be, you can also write children's books. And in this connection also I had this experience actually of writing theaters. And you can just take, one chapter from Srimad Bhagavatam and you look what the dialogues are, with the story, and you try to simplify it, and express it in maybe modern language, what is happening there. And it was very easy actually. I did it a few times for Nrsinga Chaturdasi, writing, just took the 7 canto and look at the Nrsinga Lila, and then just took every 3rd, 4th verse and just write, like a simple version of it. And it was very nice. And then presented writing theater. Maybe that's something we could add onto the list, to write dramas, theaters.
Drama is mentioned, yeah. And the book you just mentioned, is it still available in the shop? Yeah. Okay, that's a good reminder. So the next slide, conclusion and a question mark. What could be the conclusion? When I was about to prepare a presentation, I went online on YouTube or whatever, and I wanted to find out how to make a good presentation, because we want to also do it nicely for devotees. And then I came across one information that a good presentation must and will always end with one word. Yes, I can do it. So it will convince the audience. So I don't know if my presentation is good or not, but yeah, that's the conclusion. The conclusion is yes. And we can try to believe it, that yes, we too can be a writer. It's possible. It's possible, and we just have to break this false belief that we can't write, which is not true. We can always write something. Krishna Kshetra Swami says, start by writing an action plan. What you will do and how you will do it. Start reading Vaishnava literature. Include other literature that might be of practical help to enter into the spirit of reflective work by writing. So if you read Srila Prabhupada's books and the books of the previous acharyas, that will give us some food for thoughts. And then later on we can try to write our realization and understanding of what we have read. Even if it is just writing notes during our reading and studying time, that is also very, very beneficial. Sometimes we tend just to copy and paste whatever is written in the book. But we can also try to practice trying to explain in our own words the point that is mentioned in the purports of Srila Prabhupada, to write it down in our own words. That requires a little bit of thinking and understanding what is actually happening, what Srila Prabhupada is explaining. If we are just writing what Srila Prabhupada said, it's wonderful, but it can get very mechanical. We don't think about it, we just write, and then after writing A4 pages, we don't know what we wrote. But if we think about it and try to explain it in our own words, then it stays longer. And it is also said that, I don't know the percentages, very little percentage we will remember after reading, then more we will remember after reading and writing it down, and even more we will remember after reading, writing it down, and then revisiting what we wrote and reading it again and contemplating on it. So if we want a full benefit of reading Srila Prabhupada's books, then reading itself is not enough. We may want to write it down and then revisit, reread, and contemplate on what we have read. And that's not the last, to share it with others. So we can meet a friend and share with others. Srila Prabhupada said in one letter, November 15, 1975, chant Hare Krishna mantra day and night, read books and express the philosophy in your own words, and write articles for publishing. So this is for the end of this first presentation. We have few minutes more, so if you have any comments, anything to add, any questions.
I think this is a really nice lifestyle that Prabhupada is, this line. Just chant, read books and express, writing articles. I can imagine that many Prabhupada disciples took this to heart and they're doing this.
And they're living a very happy life.
Good lifestyle.
Yeah.
And actually, this is so satisfying. If you, wow, I done something nice, you know, right? It's some kind of satisfaction, and also Mataji mentioned that Krishna Kshetra Swami inspired his disciples to write on some topic, and I follow this challenges. And when on first was Rama Smaranam, then Krishna Smaranam, and Chaitanya Smaranam. It means we supposed to write some articles about these topics. And when I saw the book, and in this book was my article, I was wow, something unusual, some kind of satisfaction from this writing. It means it's also very joyful. Yeah, that's my thought.
So it's true then, write and be happy.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for nice lecture. I just wanted to share that the interest for me in writing began with the course of creative writing in high school. So it could be also done in the way of Krishna conscious. Like we had some exercises, like as you mentioned, limited time and certain topic, and we had to write something, and then in the evening we were sharing what we wrote among the classmates, and it was really like inspiring to see inside the heads of others, like through their writings. And today I was just listening the interview with Garuda Prabhu, who is Srila Prabhupada's disciple, and he has some doctorates from like hermeneutics or something, and he he was stressing the point that we as followers of Srila Prabhupada should comment on his books like it was done in our parampara previously. So it is like also one big challenge for us to try to explain Srila Prabhupada's statements in our own words. This I wanted to share.
Thank you. It's very nice. So we can end now, and it will be a Gaura Arati. And after Gaura Arati, we can meet again for a short time and see what else is prepared about writing. Thank you all very much. Srila Prabhupada ki. Hare Krishna.
If there will be something like this in YouTube, can you please announce it and put it earlier, because for outsiders it's very hard to just drop everything. Just at least give us some dates.
Sandra Shri Vrindavan Dham ki, Mayapur Dham ki, Ganga Yamuna Mai ki, Bhakti Devi Tulasi Devi ki, Harinam Sankirtan Yuga Bhava ki, Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Nitai Gaura Prehi, all glories to Sanatana, all glories to Sanatana, all glories to Sanatana, all glories to God, all glories to Shri Prabhupada. I think they must be so happy.
For sure. He was so sad when you left. You continue to think?
Yeah.
Here?
Quarter to 8. No, latest 8. It will be short. You need to turn on your laptop and then the screen should be back on. You can say that in what? You can start doing this, even if there's one or if there's nobody. You do whatever. Like online, you have.
Two viewers online.
Hmm?
Do we have questions here?
Did you got questions?
In the chat, huh? Where they read?
If I may pose a question, what about writing poetry to glorify Sri Krishna and his pastimes? Is this also encouraged by Srila Prabhupada? There is a vast tradition of poetry in Gaudiya Vaishnavism. Maybe contemporary form of poetry could be an additional means of reaching out to people. Your humble servant, Chitra Devi Das. Answer. Okay, looks like we talked about. What about writing to glorify Sri Krishna? What about writing poetry, more precisely? I think that was the point before we came to poetry.
Okay, so welcome back. I see some faces that I don't know. What is your name, Prabhu?
My name is Lucas.
Lucas. Your first time here?
Yeah.
First time here. Okay, first time in a Hare Krishna temple or?
No, my first time in Singapore.
So you visited other temples as well? Okay. Nice. Where are you from?
I'm from Austria.
Oh.
So I know the Vedic center in Vienna.
Nice. Have you been here before Gaur Arati?
Yeah, he came at the end, like at 6, maybe 6:15 he came.
Yeah.
Who knows what we were talking about?
Yeah, we were talking a bit about writing in Krishna consciousness. We normally hear about hearing and chanting and preaching and teaching, but not so much about writing. And writing was something that Srila Prabhupada did day and night, translating the books and commenting them. And that's why we are now benefiting so much because of his endeavor and the endeavor of the previous acharyas. So we spoke a bit why should one write for his own benefit, for his own purification, for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada. What else?
Preaching.
For preaching purposes, one can write. Who can write? Everyone and anyone. Young, elderly, senior, beginner, whoever, lady and gentleman, whoever. What to write? Write first of all our realizations in so many different forms. We can write essays, we can write prayers, we can write poetry, poems. There was one question in a chat. And yes, writing poetry glorifying Krishna is a great tradition. So this can be also encouraged. Whatever we write, express our feelings, it's good. It's very good. It's very therapeutic, very clarifying. And what Priya Radha said, write so that you don't forget it. Write on the paper. I did not know how long it will take to present the first part. So it took, it was very quick, and we finished the first presentation in the first hour. So now I wish to show to you something that came from Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, who has his podcast, the Monk's Podcast. Have you heard about it? No? He is a brahmachari devotee from India, and he's a very good and excellent writer. He just figured out that writing is something that he can do, that he is good in it, and that he wants to do. And then he approached Jayadvaita Swami, offering him some of his writing pieces and asking his comment. And then Maharaj said, wow, this is good. So he encouraged him and suggested to him some books on writing. And Prabhu then took it very sincerely and started writing and writing and writing. So writing is his life. And there are so many other devotees who are writing. Kadamba Karana Swami was writing. Krishna Kshetra Swami was writing. Sachinandan Swami. Many Srila Prabhupada's disciples, they are writing. So I want to share with you, Prabhu wrote the whole article, but I just summarize it briefly here in this slide. He calls it Dear Write, and for each letter, W-R-I-T-E, he gives a word. What does it mean for him? So W means to worship. For him, words are the means by which devotee writers strive to worship Krishna. Some worship Krishna by offering fire, water, incense, flower. Some worship Krishna by chanting the holy name. So he says that worshipping Krishna can be done also by offering a written word. Then we have R for realization. Writing means realization, thinking deeply about the scriptural truths that we wish to realize. Writing can help us realize, and writing can also be a tool of expressing our realization and deepening our realizations. Then we have introspection, writing our feelings and their stimuli just as we would pour them out to a close devotee friend. So this can be a very interesting tool for all of us devotees to introspect. And recently we had a visit of Swayam Bhagavan Keshava Swami in Golokadam, and he, in his last class, he emphasized the point of writing, and he gave a short presentation as well. And he was explaining how important it is to introspect, and he also explained how to introspect. So there are devotees among us who are thinking deeply how to encourage others to write, and he is one of such devotees. So this could be also researched on the internet and find out the lectures and figure out more from him. So all of us write text messages nowadays. WhatsApp, Telegram, this is so popular, and daily we are writing some messages. And if we have a close friend, then sometimes we express our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions in these longer text messages, not 2-3 lines, but sometimes it's like very long. And we feel very relieved after that. So writing, and also we give some pleasure to other person because we indirectly say to that person that I trust you, that therefore I'm opening myself to you. And I'm sharing my thoughts, I'm sharing my fears, I'm sharing my struggles in life with you. So this can be done like, talking, but also we can write a message or write a letter. Sometimes it is recommended that when we have some bad feelings towards someone and we have something that, some kind of a misunderstanding with another person, we can write a letter to that person and express our feelings towards him and say openly what hurts us in his behavior or her behavior. And this will help us to let go of these negative emotions when we express them on the paper. We don't even have to send that letter. We can just put it in the dustbin, or we can burn it or whatever. But we can also send it, we can also give it to a person. And among my friends I've seen that many did that. And the result was very good, because the other person appreciated very much. And after that letter, the other person said, yeah, I also felt so close towards you last months, and I felt like something is wrong in our relationship, but I didn't know what to say. And now when you wrote me this letter, I feel like everything is clear, and I really want to clarify this with you, and I want to have a good relationship again with you. So this can serve, writing can serve for that purpose as well. Therapy, T for therapy. This form of writing assists our inner healing. Our inner healing, it's something that is very much necessary, very, very relevant in a life of a practicing devotee, because I would say that 90% of us come with some traumas from childhood, early childhood or later childhood. And these traumas, they determine our present character, activities, feelings, conceptions, what else? Conceptions, yeah, I said. Yeah. And even they make some false beliefs about ourselves. We think that our body is not beautiful, or we think that we are stupid, or we think that we don't know how to do this or that. We have lack of self-esteem. And this is kind of limiting us in our life. It took me personally, when I said that Guru Maharaj gave this class in the beginning of COVID pandemic. So I heard it shortly after that. And it took me so long to give first presentation, because I have some inner obstacles, things that I had to solve myself and make myself more confident, and Lord Nrsimhadev helped in this regard. But also a personal therapy, talking with other devotees, expressing my feelings, my fears, addressing them and trying to solve them somehow or other. And writing helps very much. So you may want to try to express your feelings, fears, whatever, on the piece of paper. And we will talk about it tomorrow more. I mentioned already that paper and pen and just letting it out through writing is the best thing. If we start writing on the computer, it's not so practical. For writing a novel or for writing a drama or something else, this might be okay, computer and keyboard. But for just doing some therapeutic writing, pen and paper are the best. And it does not limit us. We don't have to take an expensive notebook. Just a piece of paper that we find on the floor or under the bed can serve the purpose. And even better, because then we don't have a fear. I have to write nicely in this notebook because it has a good cover and a recycled paper, and someone very important gave it to me, so I have to write very nice things inside. And that's limiting us. But when we find just a paper somewhere that is already like written something on it, we just turn it on the other side and we feel like very free to write whatever comes within the mind. Just express it, just take it out, and we will feel very relieved after that. I guarantee you, if you try it, you will feel very relieved. To the point that when we are offering our prayers through writing, it has even much more impact. You know, when we sit before, just 10 minutes, 7 minutes before sleep and offering a prayer of gratitude, in an honest, simple way, free way, I have noticed that sometimes, most of the times, it even affects. The longer we do that, the better our quality of hearing and chanting will be tomorrow morning during japa time. You can try it. And letter E, explanation. Sharing our faith through written explanation. So in the process of Krishna consciousness, we are gradually building our faith in the Lord, in the process, in the Guru, in the Shastra and Sadhu. And we can explain it. We can explain it to others, and we can make it even more firm by writing it down and revisiting it after 5 years, 6 years, 7 months, 3 months, when we get doubtful, then we feel weak spiritually. We can open our notebook and we can read. We can read the statements, the feelings that we expressed when we were in a good and stable condition of Krishna consciousness, when we were very firmly established in our faith to the Lord. So I can share with those who are interested the whole article of Prabhuji, but if you just write in Google the right Chaitanya Charandas, it can also be very easily found. He explains in detail each letter and each word, what it means to him, and it's really very inspiring. So what would be the practical presentation without some practice? So I thought of presenting to all of you some exercises. Unfortunately, others who were before Gaurati here, they were not here now. But we can remind them of these exercises tomorrow if they come. So I thought that this could be just as a experiment for those who wish to try it out, to do some writing before we meet tomorrow. We will not ask you to read if you don't want it. You can just try it for yourself. But if you wish, you can share with others. Why? Because while we are trying to write something, we will make our experience. And I'm curious, what is this experience for each and every one of you? So if you wish, you can share these experiences tomorrow, or you can share what you wrote with us and just be okay with that. The first one is free writing. I call it free writing. So we can specify what we want to write about. We can take a piece of paper and write, I want to write about this or that topic. Just that we know what we want to write about. Then it is suggested to close the eyes and take a deep breath and think about the topic for some time. Not 3 hours, but let's think about it. I want to write about meditation, or I want to write about how I was chanting the holy name, or I want to write about Tulasi Devi, or whatever else I want to write. So let me think a bit about it. What I want to write, how I want to write. So we can close our eyes and think about it for a moment. Then, what I already mentioned, timing ourselves. We can time ourselves and write for 15 minutes or 10 minutes or 5 minutes. Whatever time we put, we can write, or even longer. And then just start writing and keep writing about our thoughts and feelings on that particular topic. And don't cross anything, don't erase anything, just write. It's not a time for editing, it's time for writing. So we can just start writing. Doesn't matter if it is grammatically correct or incorrect, spelling is good or wrong, just write, whatever comes, just write, 15 minutes. And then once we are done, we can reread what we wrote and reflect on it with a sentence or two or more. We can see what we wrote. It can be done immediately after writing, or it can be done after 1 hour, or 2 or 3, or 1 day after. And then just reflect on it and maybe write 1, 2, 3, 4 sentences more about that. So that's the first exercise called free writing. Then the next one is very interesting, that we did with Krishna Kshetra Swami. It is called ekphrasis. Maharaj asked us to, it was a Damodar month, and Maharaj asked us to find our favorite picture of the Lord Krishna as a baby. So, and then once we found this picture, then he said, now write on that picture. Explain that picture, make a dialogue, make a story out of that picture, whatever. So, and then devotees had, I don't know, few weeks to do it, can't remember correctly. Few weeks to do it, and then they were presenting in a Saturday Sangha. They shared a screen with a picture and then read what they wrote about that picture. This is well known in the world of writing, and we can find many writers who are writing these ekphrasis. So it can also be found how to write it and some instructions and suggestions. So I've explored this a bit and wrote these few sentences. So they say, write about your experience of looking at the art. It is said also that when we go to art gallery, we should not go all around and look all the pictures or artworks. We should just come in front of one and sit and look at it and try to experience, try to feel something and try to really go deep into seeing the art. So this can be done, writing experience of looking at the art. What happens? What is our experience? Then we can write a dialogue among characters in a work of art. We can write a dialogue between Yashoda Ma and little Krishna, or Prahlad Maharaj and Lord Nrsimhadev, or Lord Chaitanya and his associates. Whatever picture we choose, we can write a dialogue. We can write about the scene or subject being depicted in the artwork. We can explain the scene. We can explain the background of the scene, landscape or whatever is there. And the last one, write in the voice of a person or object shown in the artwork. There are many more. I just chose these four for this slide. But those who wish to know more about ekphrasis, then they can Google and find out more informations. So this is the second exercise that you can do. Just find a picture and then try to write based on that picture. And the third one is reflection. We were asked to reflect on Govardhan retreat by Guru Maharaj. We were asked to reflect on Srimad Bhagavatam, to find one verse, one paragraph, one section of the Srimad Bhagavatam and then reflect on it. So Krishna Kshetra Swami wrote, respond in writing to what you have read. Collect your thoughts and make them coherent, comprehensible and interesting for others. Collect them, make them simple and interesting for others, and then just write them down. Show how you appreciate the particular passage. Imagine a specific audience whom you wish to address and whom you would like to help connect to the Bhagavatam. And have one single message or reflection to communicate as clearly as possible, without complicating so much, without trying to present ourselves as a big writer. Just simple, clear message as we are writing to our sister, little sister. So these are three exercises that we can try to do whenever we have time. Reflection, ekphrasis, and free writing. And for the end, His Holiness Krishna Kshetra Swami says to all of us, don't delay and allow yourself to discover something interesting, surprising, wonderful, amusing through your writing. Wishing you all well. So we can explore, we can try it in our own room. Nobody will see us except the Lord within the heart, or maybe Bashar sees me writing something or I see him. And we should not have a fear of failure, because every failure leads to a success. So whatever we write, if we really don't like it and we are really shy to share it, we can always put the paper in the dustbin. But to make this a try, it's a good thing. This we can do. We can just try to write something. And I hope that some of us will take it maybe a little bit more serious and try to write regularly and maybe share with others. So the idea of this whole initiative that I'm trying to present to you is to encourage all of us to write something, but also to encourage all of us to make friendships with other devotee writers. We will hear tomorrow that writing is also a communal art. It can be done in a community. And there will be some examples how we can do that. Simhachalam can have some kind of a newsletter. It has already. But it can have a little magazine, even if it is e-magazine, where devotees can publish, show to others. Recently we had a visit of Bhakta from Slovenia, Bhakta Tadej. He wrote already 2 books in Slovenian language, and he came here and he got inspired very much to write a book about Simhachalam. And Guru Maharaj encouraged him very much to write a book about this place and about the people over the past years. Something similar I did in Goloka Dham. Guru Maharaj asked me to make an oral history. So we were recording videos with senior devotees from Goloka Dham, asking them how they joined, how they came to Krishna consciousness, and then hearing from them explanation of the whole path that they went in last 20, 30 years until they came somehow or other to Goloka Dham, and what were their services and what were their experiences, good and bad, and whatever they wish to share. The service is not done yet. Some devotees will continue. But I found it very interesting and very wonderful to preserve the memories. And it is simple. If we cannot record it on a video, we can record it on a mobile phone only, audio, and save it like that. And Simhachalam has very rich history, and it would be pity if that would not be recorded. There are some already documentaries, and we did for this, what was it, Brahmotsava last year. We did this interviews with Sachinandana Swami, Gorkeshava Prabhu, Krishna Kshetra Swami. I'm not sure if someone else. But what could be done also is to make an interviews with Nandimukhi, Narahari, Akila Prabhu, Suchitra Mataji. Maybe some devotees who were here previously and now they are somewhere else in Germany or in some other country in Europe. We can connect with them and preserve the memories. And then maybe in the future someone will write a book about it, because everything is there, the information is there, the memories are there, so somebody can transcribe it and put it into a book. Or it can be published as a video, as a documentary. So this could be done. And it's not difficult. And it's very, very exciting and very fun actually. to sit and listen for 1.5 hour. A part of life of a devotee. And the bigger picture of this, I would say my vision is that this presentation does not only be Vrindaranja Gopal's Das Prabhu or whatever presentation, but that those devotees who get inspired by it and who take to trying to write something, that they also take the same presentation with them, put them into their pocket, and take them to another place where they can present it in their own words and realizations to other devotees, and then there find someone who will take it to another place, and then from that place to another place, so that the awareness that writing can be done among devotees and should be done among devotees. We read all the proofs by Srila Prabhupada that he encourages all of his disciples and us to write. So this is my humble vision, that this small presentation goes around and that devotees just talk about writing, that they gather once a week or once in 2 weeks and write something together or share what they wrote last week, previous week, that they maybe even publish a book together or just by themselves. So this is something that I was thinking about and trying to assist Krishna Kshetra Swami in his service. And I invite all of you to join tomorrow as well, at the same time, 5:30 to 6:30, and then we will see how much we can cover in this first hour. It will be more about how to write, some practical tips. Some of them I already said, but there is much more that it's written in the book of Natalie Goldberg, Writing Down the Bones, that we can try to apply. It will be very simple and interesting for me to share it with you, and I hope for you also to hear it. Thank you all very much. I'm very grateful to you that you came to listen, and this is actually very encouraging for me to do next presentation as soon as possible. Somewhere else maybe. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki. Jai. Gaura Premanande. Hari Hari.